Let me ask you about what's going on in Japan then. Ahead of the election, we do seem to see some softness coming through in the Japanese equity market story. Dollar yen pretty flat, although weakness in the currency has been a theme of late.
Yeah, very much so. I think my team are very excited by this election on the idea that if we do get the LDP results, then therefore BOJ hiking might be moved forward. I'm not convinced the election will have as big of an impact on monetary policy as people think. I think that the way investors are looking at this suggests the kind of underlying positioning bias out there, that much of the market has been wrong-sided by the yen weakness the last couple of weeks. And therefore, these are yen bulls who are getting desperate and saying, hey, maybe the election can be back on our side, can re-stimulate yen strength. And that's the kind of theory that is, again, also weighing on stock markets, that the election might prompt hikes to be more aggressively priced after the weekend. I'm worried that may not be the case, and so therefore the more likely outcome is that we again see yen weakness extend next week.
Talk to us a little bit more about the currency picture, especially when it comes to euro dollar. Goldman talking about a potential 10% decline if we do see a Trump 2.0. Is that a valid one?
I mean, it seems very dramatic to me. I have to say, I am structurally bearish the European currency, but very much on a long-term basis. You've got to remember this is a currency that's very stable overall. It's got very low volatility. Sure, European growth's not looking good. There's not a great amount of political leadership across the continent at the moment. It's not looking very, very promising. The more volatile component, though, of euro-dollar is the dollar side of the trade. I actually think that the post-election, if Trump wins, that will be probably maybe the peak of the dollar rally. I think that, you know, it's not in a binary moment, the election. People are pricing in an increasing chance of Trump winning the election via the currency markets as we get closer. And I think it's in currency markets where we're seeing that pricing most clearly. So I think we'll see an extension if Trump does indeed win. But I think then that the negative side of a potential Trump presidency start to weigh in the dollar. So I think if Trump does win the election, that'll be the final stages of the dollar rally.
And Mark, Anna mentioned about Treasury yields slipping for a second day towards the back end of the week here. Is there a point at which the stock market really reacts to this bond market story?
No, not really. Not anytime soon. Ultimately, yields have lots higher to climb, and that's because the US economy is absolutely doing wonderfully. Of course, we get to a point where high yields constrict the economy, they constrict the consumer, and ultimately that causes problems for the economy and hence the stock market. But I don't think we're close to that point, and I don't think it's about a level. It is about enough pressure on the economy over time, and I don't think we're close to that. So I think the yields have much more to rise, particularly at the back end of the curve, though, because of those fiscal concerns.